Hey out there all of you megalomaniacs, you better be tuning in every week and hanging out with Scully and the cryptid Metal-O-Mania.
Well, thanks for sending over here to the Zoomverse, as you will, from the studio and them kick-ass jams or whatever the hell we opened up the show with tonight, because this is an impromptu and badass meeting with a brother of mine. Welcome back to the show, man. How are you, DJ Anubis? How are you, my friend?
Doing very good, man. Glad to see it. Glad to see you doing well. The mighty Metal-O-Mania teaming up. Metal Tavern Radio. Gotta love that again.
Fuck yeah, man. And dude, long overdue, if you don't mind my saying. I really wanted us to do a end of the year thing for 2021, but dude, as you know, all the metalheads out there, we ended up in New York and we ended up doing all kinds of crazy shit. I never even did an end of the year show at all. So
quality time with the lady.
Yes, indeed. The Skulls said, "Fuck you. This is what we're doing," and everybody knows I don't bullshit. I don't fuck with the Skulls on that shit. So.
She's the boss.
She's the boss, cuz.
She is the boss. But and you know, you and I live similar lives, man. I was telling somebody recently, man, I got to get Anubis back on the show because that's my fucking doppelganger out there, man. So
right.
It's very good to talk to you, sir.
You too, man. It's been a wild year already, but we got a lot of great music to talk about, a lot of great movies and shows. So I'm glad that you invited me to do this. Appreciate it.
I do. That's exactly what we're going to cover tonight. We're going to talk some pop culture. We're going to talk some metal. We're going to have a little fun, man, and make our way through another of our hopefully somewhat abbreviated. You know, I told Scully, you know, we're going to have trouble keeping it abbreviated when I bring in my man DJ. So.
Yeah, we tend to go on our tangents.
Fuck yeah, this might be counterproductive to the new format, but fuck it, I'm glad to have you, man. I'll take that over the other. So
it is a first for us though, because last time I was with you, I was actually there with you in the studio, but now we're doing it over the web, which technology is awesome like this. So.
Fuck yeah, yeah. And for those who don't know, actually, yeah, I'm actually over here just south of DC, and you are north of DC, up in the Baltimore area. So. We are also metal neighbors, brother. So, yeah, well, I look forward to getting you guys back in the studio. And, of course, send our love to your lovely lady and give her a shout-out since she couldn't join us today.
DJ Neko, as I talked about on our podcast, she's out there on the waters doing the work thing for a couple months. So she'll be missing in action for a little while. But Anubis is holding up the fort.
Fuck yeah.
We had just released our new website, metaltavernradio.com. It's a big first for us. We put a lot of time and money into that, so be sure to check that shit out when you can.
I promise I will be, and all of you Metal-O-Maniacs out there should be as well. And dude, you're so living my life, man. You know, we have parallel existences. We're dumping all our time, our money, our existence into this metal thing, man. So I get it, brother. I wish you huge success along the journey. Hopefully we can enjoy some of that together.
Right. Well, the wonderful thing about our shows in general, and we come from different approaches. You know, you're more video, I'm more audio, but we both are in the Maryland area, and we're like a big representatives of the metal scene here as well as abroad. So people who aren't really familiar with us have a good way of finding some of the best underground metal bands out in the scene right now. So.
Fuck yeah. Since the last time I've seen you, I don't think it's a stretch of the imagination to say there's been a little bit of newsworthy shit going down, man. It's been some tumultuous times in the world, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, man. A lot of crazy shit going on. Still COVID is still a thing. Of course, the shit over in Europe right now. And scary times a little bit. I'm kind of hoping that shit works out, obviously, but we have to kind of just ride the wave, as they say, and hope that things turn out for the best.
Fucking right, brother. Heads our bets and fucking cross our fingers, man.
That's really the great thing about the music that we listen to. It's a great outlet for that, you know, to deal with some of that shit, and of course, personal stuff for everybody involved. Metal fans in general, I love the fact that within the last decade, we started to see more and more articles that are addressing the fact that metal's not a bad thing. You know, we used to hear that a lot back during the 80s, the satanic panic shit, even in the 90s a little bit. But now it's like, oh, metal's actually pretty fucking smart. Yeah.
It's a creative outlet, and metalheads are well-rounded, and I've seen a lot of those articles.
We don't have a bunch of serial killers. They're just getting their mission out, you know.
Hey, we just gotten better at it. Oh, I mean,
smarter.
Yeah, that's right.
If you mean it gets better with age, it don't.
Well, you set it us up perfectly, actually, because during these crazy tumultuous times, metalheads like ourselves have done exactly that. We've kind of leaned into our metal. We've leaned into our pop culture bullshit. You know what I mean? We've leaned into. I've never heard the words binging TV shows said more often than I have during the whole pandemic things. And as my old man used to say, in times of crisis, bet on vices, which we've all leaned into for sure. And pop culture is definitely amongst our vices. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely.
If I were to ask you, what's the first thing that transform yourself 2 years, 3 years in the future? The pandemic's many behind us. We've now moved on. When someone asked you at that time, what's the thing you leaned into the most to get to the pandemic? What do you think your answer might be? I know I realize it's premature to know for sure, but if you were projecting a little, what do you think both movie wise, TV show wise, maybe music wise, what are those things that you leaned into the most through the?
I think music wise, it's pretty obvious for actually both of us. And in terms of, you and I having discussions before, we bleed heavy metal and rock. So like, I don't think that's ever going away. We're both kind of old enough now to know that we're never going to grow out of that phase at all. Like my parents used to say when I was younger, you're not going to be listening to this stuff like 5 years from now. Here I am at 51, still listening even more heavier shit than you would think.
Than ever, yes.
Right. So in terms of music, nothing's going to change that way. We're going to just continue to forge on with the bands that we know and love, and of course any new acts that come across our way. TV wise, there's a lot of stuff coming up that's pretty interesting, depending on the topics and genres that you like. So I have a few in mind here that I'm looking forward to. So I don't know about you, but
I jotted down a few that I'm looking forward to. We'll talk about those tonight, sure.
Yeah, The Boys on Amazon Prime. It's probably the coolest superhero series that you'll ever see, because it's more in the vein of like Watchmen almost. It's very dark. They'll be doing season 3, which I think is in the spring or summer of this year. From what I understand, there's no plot summary yet, but it stars Jack Quaid and Carl Urban, who I really like a lot as an actor. So
me too.
That's one of those series that I'm really excited for.
Yeah, that's whose son is that? The main star is
Are you talking about Jack Quaid?
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, right. Jack Quaid, yeah.
Randy Quaid or Dennis Quaid? I'm not
That's
sure.
Dennis Quaid's boy. Right.
Okay. I did not even actually know that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. That's I
with the last name, but there's a lot of Quaids out there.
Right.
Quaid.
Yeah. That's Dennis Quaid's son, man. How funny is that, dude? Doing the TV show thing. Yeah.
Hey, he's pretty good in it too.
He's very good, and I enjoy that series quite a bit. And I heard someone say recently of The Boys that it's one of the few superhero things that takes into account that they're not just heroes, but actually human beings, man. Of course they're going to be flawed. Of course they're going to be, have these myriads of.
Yeah, we don't ever really think about it, but like, if you ever had powers like that, you would almost certainly see yourself as a god. Like, you could get away with anything. There's no one to stop you.
Right.
And that's really what the series is all kind of about, is the abuse of that particular thing. I know that also Disney Plus has like 3 different things coming up. They're shoving shit out all the time between Star Wars and Marvel. And
yeah, they bought those franchises and they ain't pushed the pause button at all, have they?
Yeah. And so, but like, I know that with the Star Wars stuff, you've got Mandalorian season 3. Have you watched any of that?
Yes, sir. Loving it.
So good.
Yeah, so good.
And then I guess they have Andor. Now, this one I'm not as familiar with, although I did see Rogue One. But apparently the character Cassian Andor is who they're focusing on for that series. Right. And then, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi with Ewan McGregor. And Hayden Christensen's all going to be in that as well.
Yeah, that surprised me, actually, that they were bringing him back.
Yeah, but apparently it's like a prequel to A New Hope, so I'm not sure if it's going to be Hayden as Vader or not, but, spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. What's the one with Rosario Dawson coming up? One of the Star Wars properties.
That might be Andor. I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah.
Part of Mandalorian and Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, which just got done with their first season. So
right, I believe that character's getting its own show, her own show, which
It should. She's a good character and interesting. So
I love her. Yeah, she's another one, that's been in the Marvel universe and in the Star Wars universe now with her repeated role in the, Luke Cage and all that good stuff. And
yeah, I wonder if she's going to make, because I know that, and this is a side thing, Kevin Smith is working on Clerks 3, so I wonder if she's going to make a reappearance in that at all.
yeah, I'm super excited about Clerks 3, actually. We actually, the dude that plays Dante, a friend of mine had the dude that plays Dante send me a birthday video, actually, on my 50th.
And if you aren't out there listening to Metal-O-Mania with the Crip as the host, I don't know what you're doing. Hopefully I'll see you in theaters for Clerks 3 next year. We'll see you then. Peace.
That was very fucking cool.
Yeah, that was real cool, man. Shout out. I'm looking forward to that movie. Well, and along those lines, what are you most looking forward to? What's on your radar? I know that some of the Star Wars properties and some of that and the Marvel properties, and I'll ask you later about that. So I'm going to ask you, is there too much of that stuff at some point? But we'll get into that later. But for now, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, like we just mentioned, those series, there's a couple more coming up. Amazon Prime also is doing Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm super excited about that.
Apparently it's going to take place during the second age of Middle Earth, prior to all the Lord of the Rings stuff and Hobbit stuff that we saw. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Fuck yeah.
And of course, I know I think you are a big fan. Stranger Things season 4 is coming up in the summer, so I'm ready for that as well.
Me too. I can't wait for that. I might add the Game of Thrones prequel to that as well. Were you a Game of Thrones cat?
I wanted to watch this when the first season came out. I was really excited about it because I do love that kind of stuff. I got 2 or 3 episodes in, and I wasn't feeling it. It took off. People were loving the shit out of it. And then, I don't know. I think by the time that I thought, okay, we got to season 8 or 9, I was like, okay, maybe now it's time to kind of go and binge all this shit.
Right.
People were so angry at that last season that I'm like, is it worth it? Because I don't want to end up angry with this shit.
Right.
I've actually watched different TV series over the years. Like I tried Sons of Anarchy and I watched it up to season 4 and then a character died and I just got pissed off and left.
Opie. Was it Opie?
No, it was the girl.
Oh, okay. The right. When the mother stabbed her in the head.
Yeah, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I loved Sons of Anarchy. See, that's one of the few shows. You and I should do a show in the future together, even. That'll be the topic. What are shows that had good endings and shows that had shitty, terrible, awful endings? Because for me, Sons of Anarchy had a good one.
Yeah, I did eventually go back to the last season of that because I kind of read up on it. I got to figure out what happened here. Watched the last season. I wasn't even really crazy about that last episode. I don't know how you felt about it, but that's a good topic for another show for sure.
Before we move on, actually, I have a quick, interesting take on that for fans out there who are the creator of Sons of Anarchy also made the show The Shield. Were you a fan of The Shield? Do you remember that show, the LA police officers show?
I remember it's Chiklis. Is he in that?
Michael Chiklis, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Honestly, that to me, if you were to put a gun to my head and say, what's the best TV show of all time, my answer would be The Shield. And I loved that show. But the guy who created that was also the creator of Sons of Anarchy. And there's a rumor, I guess, fan theory, if you will, that Vic Mackey, the police officer that ended, The Shield, had reinvented himself, after he gets washed out of the police force and became a truck driver. And he's the truck driver that fucking kills Jax at the end of Sons of Anarchy.
Oh shit!
So it all comes together, and if that's true, I like that about it. So in that way, I like the ending because of it.
Watch the spin-off, The Mayans, at all?
I do. I enjoy that as well. Yeah, I like that guy, that Kurt. Well, he's married. His wife is Katie Seagal, the actress who's been in all of his properties basically. I don't think she was in The Shield, but she was Jax's mother in Sons of Anarchy. She's married with children, all that good stuff, but.
Yeah, no, Sons of Anarchy has a strong cast. There's a lot of great actors. Ron Perlman's one of my favorite actors.
Me too, man. How can you make a Hellboy without Ron Perlman, man? Come on.
Right.
How are you surprised that didn't work? But yeah, that's good shit, man. I'm looking forward to all that shit. I would say that I'm looking forward to those properties. I'm looking forward to the Game of Thrones prequel quite a bit. Oh, and on that, real quick, I've my 2 cents on it is I agree with everybody as far as the ending. I did watch it all. I get everybody's criticism of the end, and honestly, I agree with most of it. It was rushed. There was some things that definitely happened too quick. But was the journey worth it? If that is the question, my answer is a resounding yes, sir. A resounding yes.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I'll probably have to give it another shot. Like I said, the content and plot and dragons and stuff, it all interests me. So I know that's one of the earlier roles for Jason Momoa,
Right. Oh, dude, I remember, honestly, he first walked out as Khal Drogo on there, and I was like, this dude's going to be a star. This ain't the last we're going to see of this guy. But I mean, now I had no idea that it would be what it's become, obviously, but I knew we were going to see this dude more than once. I looked over at Scully and I saw the dreamy look in her eyes, and I was like, yeah, this dude's going to be around for a minute.
Like, oh.
Hey, and I got nothing but love for the dude, man. He's a Slayer fan, a metal guy. I love that cat. So that's good shit. I believe there's another Aquaman underway, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. Of course, it's got its own controversy because of
Amber Heard.
Yeah. He has this show on Netflix. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's called Frontiers. And it's really good. Like, it's really, really good.
I'm not sure if that's the same series, but I read at one point that he had reached out to the singer for Archspire and was having him work on his vocals because he wanted to create a battle cry for the TV show he was working on. I'm not entirely sure it's that same one, but I think that's pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting story. Reached out to a metal band to get his battle cry is based on a metal band. You know what I mean?
Well, did you ever remember, I don't think it was this past year, but maybe the year before, the Super Bowl commercial where Momoa was like taking off all his muscles and he's real skinny in his wig.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I thought that was a trip.
Hey, because of him, I want to go to a bar where you can throw axes. You know, I've seen it.
I've done that. That is fun, dude. You got to do it. It's so fun.
That seems like it'd be a good fucking time to me. Yeah.
Neko was so surprised. She's like, "You are really good at this. This is scary."
Hey, there you go, man.
Viking blood, baby. Viking blood.
Maybe that's our next outing, brother. You and me will have to get together. We'll film it even. We'll include some footage for some of our shows and shit. That'd be a good time.
Come on, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Well, you know, I was telling you how behind the scenes here, we're working on a list maybe of doing a special on metal related movies, and I don't want to spoil it, so we won't get too deeply into it right now, but it did lead us to talking a little bit about that Summoning the Devil, and I just saw that for the first time actually recently, man. That was pretty good flick.
Summoning the Darkness. I can't remember.
Oh, right. Maybe you're right. Summoning the Darkness. You're right. With what's her name? Alexandra Daddario, maybe, I think. Is that her name?
Probably a lot better at getting it than I am.
Wow, that's a wowzer. I'm gonna throw the wowzer down, man. So
yeah.
That's a wowzer. But yeah, man, maybe we'll drag you in on that and we'll have to talk heavy metal movies, man, with you, because we're going to bring in the Thralls of Metal guys and we're going to bring in Mike from VHS. That's going to be a good time. You know, we like to talk.
And by the way, VHS is cool shit.
Oh, dude, that's that new fucking release they had us. We heard they suck blood. I like that. Mike's a good dude too, man. I like that shit. But well, you know, that's a band that really embraces their band being VHS, obviously, but they embrace that horror approach, and that's kind of what we're getting into tonight, man. I encourage people to check out the Summoning the Darkness movie just for her, even if you don't like the movie. But I do want to cover a few horror related shows and shit that are coming up, and some that I know you and me are already having an affinity for. And let's start with one that I know goes back for both you and me with the movie and our love for Stephen King, but we're both Shudder cats, man, and that Creepshow reimagining is pretty kick-ass, don't you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know it's been kind of divided with the fan base, but even the animated one they did on Shudder was amazing. Like
amazing. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. And I haven't been disappointed at all. In fact, what was it? One of the first episodes, maybe from season 2, maybe from season 1, the one where the little miniature figurines and had the headless guy. But then they had like a nod to Chief Woodenhead.
Yes.
I thought fucking best thing ever. How can you not like that?
How can you not love that, dude? And dude, I love that they bring people back, like, you know, from old school fucking Adrian Barbeau has made an appearance on there and stuff like that, dude. That's outstanding. That's to horror movie people like you and I, that's like vittles of candy.
I love candy.
Right.
You know? As a Shudder guy, what is your favorite things on Shudder? I know Creepshow's got to be up there, but what are some of the things you've enjoyed most from being a Shudder person?
Well, I've been with Shudder for quite a while, since like almost close to their inception. And
You may have been who told me about Shudder, honestly, sir. So yeah.
Early on, they had like, you know, of course, their selection of movies to watch. And I was like, when I first was with them, I was like, okay, I blew through everything they had on there. Like they had a lot of classic material. And then I think after about 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, okay, well, you guys got anything new? And at first, Shudder wouldn't do that. They would update maybe every month and a half to 2 months. And so I quit my subscription because I was like, well, it's a waste of money at this point. So along the way, Shudder kind of took whatever feedback people were giving, because I know it wasn't just me complaining about that, but eventually Shudder got on board with, like, you know, updating, like now they're updating weekly. In fact, I just was looking through the list, and there's like 5 or 6 new movies they just added yesterday.
Fuck yeah.
So there's like 2 or 3 in there that I'm interested in. But then they've got the series, they've got their own, they do like what Netflix does now. They've got their own movies they actually create themselves.
A buddy of mine was telling me that like horror shows are starting to migrate there. There's talk maybe of them getting some old horror shows like Tales from the Dark Side on there and stuff like that. I really hope so. Yeah, man. That'd be such a great place for some of those shows to end up, man. Like, you're an older cat. Do you remember a show from a long time ago called The Red Door by any chance? That was like a horror anthology show from, shit, I want to say from the 80s even, man. Like maybe early 80s. It was called The Red Door. It was, you know, every week it was a different horror story, kind of a Twilight Zone for horror back in the day.
I do remember Monsters. That came out a little bit after Tales from the Dark Side. That was really good.
Oh, I love Tales from the Dark Side too. And then some of the great early HBO brought us like remember the Hitchhiker show? That was a great horror anthology show.
That was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the fuck. I actually own that the complete DVD series here on Blu-ray here somewhere, you know, of that thing. So
one thing they really got to do is find a way to get that old werewolf movie TV series from the 80s back up, because I never got to finish it, and it was really good, and it just didn't last very long. But that'd be fun for someone to pick that up and
fuck yeah, man,
master it and whatnot.
What's your favorite horror TV show? I know it's kind of putting you on the spot there, but do you have a favorite horror TV show of all time? Like,
oh man, dude,
that's a whole nother special we could do as horror TV shows. Even that'd be a lot of fun.
I'm trying to research that a little bit, because I've seen so many that I'm like,
I know. It would, for me, Tales from the Crypt would be way, way up there. Obviously, I even fucking go by the Crypt on my stupid show here.
Tales from the Crypt.
But Tales from the Crypt is way up there. I was a Tales from the Dark Side guy for sure. I really like that show quite a bit.
I mean, that would probably be right now my pick as Tales from the Dark Side, because I grew up with all that. So when I did the movie in the late 80s, I was like, yes.
Yes. The movie was great with the great Debbie Harry, you know. And Christian Slater, who you can't get wrong with Christian Slater.
A lot of big names. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Ajax from the Warriors is in there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Steve Buscemi's in there. Yeah, fuck. I've been watching some of the newer horror shows. I do recommend people check out that show From, From, From. It's got Harold Perrineau, I believe is his name, the black dude that was in Lost. Were you a fan of Lost? Did you get into Lost when that came on?
Well, it's funny because you and I were talking about it a little bit in terms of when I was discussing Sons of Anarchy and how I kind of lost interest after a certain point. Well, Lost is the same way for me and Mecca. It's like, enjoyed it, then a certain character died, and I was like, fuck you, I want to watch it anymore.
Done with that show. Yeah, you know, The Walking Dead was one of those shows for me. A character died that I was beyond the pale for me. And I mean, you got to expect it, I guess, but I couldn't take it anymore. I just stopped watching The Walking Dead, actually.
People say that all the time. Like, we watched the first season. We didn't really hate it or love it so much, but we just kind of lost interest after a while. But people always say, like, people die all the time on there, and it just drives people nuts.
Yeah, dude. I watched it until Glenn. Glenn was my final straw. I couldn't take it after that. But yeah, I was checking that out, man. I actually just binge watched that Midnight Mass show. I recommend that. That's on Netflix. That's a pretty good one, a pretty good horror show where, you know, this preacher shows up on this little island town and all of a sudden these miracles start happening, and it's pretty wild story and shit.
Right.
Pretty good stuff. And what are your thoughts on, again, you're in my age group, so you remember the original Fantasy Island show. Were you a fan of that when you were young?
Yes, I was actually. Enjoyed that a lot.
Me too, man. I loved it, dude. When the dude was like, the plan. I was excited, ready for that show. And that embraced horror elements. I remember being young and being creeped out by more than a few of those episodes of that show, man. Have you gotten into the new remake of it at all? Have you checked out any of the new ones?
When did it come out? Because I know I had just discovered that like in the 90s they'd remade it with Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that one.
I've never seen that one, and
wow,
I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. But they made a movie, Fantasy Island. Blumhouse did.
Right, recently, which led to a TV show. The movie I didn't really care for, to be honest, very much.
Well, yeah, it didn't look quite as entertaining as I thought it might, so I didn't bother. But
Rosalind Sanchez plays the role of Rourke on the TV show.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful. And now I will say, to be fair, I only watched the first two so far, but I thought they were pretty good. It seems like it has some promise. I've read reviews that don't seem to love it so much, but I think it at least has promise. But, well, and let me ask you that, even as a starting point. I know people that are amped up to hate everything.
I hate everyone, and everything seems stupid to me.
Like, it's going to take just a reimagining of the universe for them to say something positive about something, you know, movie, TV wise or other. Where do you fall on that? Where do you consider yourself on that spectrum? Because I'm the guy, I'm at the very left. I go in wanting to like it. You're really going to have to fuck it up for me to dislike it. You know what I mean? Like, I go in optimistic to like your shit. So, but that does mean if I hate it, it probably sucks because it took a.
Yeah, one thing I was going to point out, because we were going to get to movies at some point, but
for sure,
I know there's like this slate of remakes and reboots that are coming up, and I'm just like, when it comes to remakes over the last 25 years or so, it's like very few. I mean, very, like, we're talking maybe one or two films have really been good enough for me to really like. But like all of a sudden, I know they're going to be doing the Howling remake, Lost Boys, Pumpkinhead, Urban Legend, Hellraiser. They even do it for whatever reason. They're going to do a Last Train to New York, American version of Last Train, or Train to Busan. Which, why?
Right? Why? The first one's so good. It's already.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
oh, we got to fuck it up.
They could be okay. They might turn out okay, but the chances of that happening are almost nil.
Well, let's go through a couple of those real quick. Which ones are you looking forward to and optimistic about, and which ones are you kind of leery? We're recording this, obviously, so what'll be fun is we'll talk about it now, and then let's revisit them after they come out and see what we think after we've checked them out. But
I think the biggest possibilities of chances of being decent or actually working, maybe the Lost Boys as well as Urban Legend, because even though Urban Legend is pretty good, you could say to yourself, well, with the modern cast, it could probably still be done very well.
Right, better than the original, probably.
Right. Lost Boys was very big in the theaters and everything. It did very well. It's a very beloved movie. However, you could say at this point it's a little dated. So maybe you can make it a little bit more horror-oriented, more scary. So the possibilities are there.
Before you move on from that, is that a remake or is that a continuation of the story?
No, it's going to be a remake.
Straight up remake. Okay. Okay.
Remake.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah. As far as the Howling, Pumpkinhead, and Howling, I just, to me personally as a horror fan, it's going to be very those originals.
Those are sacred ground movies.
Right. And I'm very terrified of the fact that the Howling, because if you remember, the special effects back then were amazing. And
groundbreaking.
Nowadays, Hollywood gets a little lazy with that kind of stuff. They'll just settle on the CGI. And I'm like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, the original Howling was groundbreaking. It won a great many awards even for their not CGI, excuse me. It wasn't. It was makeup effect. And, well, did you grow up a fan of Fangoria magazine?
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
buy that all the time.
Yeah, man, me too, brother. See, it's funny,
There's
dude.
so many movies I could go and watch. Like, oh, wow, in fact, one of my favorite movies, Brotherhood of the Wolf, was featured in there, and I was like, oh, I'm going to see this. So yeah, it's still out there, I think, too. So
Yeah, I think so. I think it's an online thing now mostly, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. You gotta love Fangoria. Fans of metal are almost always fans of horror, man. It's very rare for me to find fans of just one, you know. Horror doesn't mean you're a metalhead, I guess, but if you're a metalhead, you're very often a horror fan. But
Yeah, shut up. We get it, okay?
that's funny. But yeah, dude, I know you and I have talked about our love for the Howling. I actually read that book even. And that's sacred ground stuff, man. Pumpkinhead is sacred ground. You know, I am leery about some of those, man. You know, you're absolutely right, though. Very, very, very rarely do they hit a home run out of a remake. It's well, and let's touch on some of that. What were your thoughts on, like, did you like the new Ghostbusters?
I did. Aftermath.
I did too. I really did too.
That was really good. I didn't like 2016, not because of the girls, just for other reasons, but.
Right, it was a poor movie. That's all.
Yeah, but the new one Afterlife was great. Really.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one quite a bit actually myself. So that one, that was a rare treat for you, you know.
Yeah.
What were some of the other ones that are coming out? Dude, why are they remaking everything? What is the deal with that? Like, dude, I have a list longer than my dick of great comic books, great horror books. Great. I mean, there's so much untapped. The material exists. It's not like there's a dearth for material. There is great material out there. Just why do we keep retreading the same shit instead of? I
suppose from the Hollywood standpoint, that it has to do with financial stuff. So if they're going to waste $50 million on a movie, they need to be able to make that return. So they feel like, I guess, in some ways, that it's safer for them to do something that most people are aware of or remember. So if they could say, oh, or look at the Batman. So it might be good when it comes out, it looks decent, but it's a brand name and they know they're going to make money on it. So rather than spend it on another type of superhero that's not as well known, they're just going to go for the go-to. So same thing with these remakes, you know, like, oh, well, we could do this, you know, very interesting horror script, but we don't know if we're going to get the money back on it. So we'll just do Pumpkinhead, you know, because everybody knows Pumpkinhead. Yeah, so that's what we run into. But I do have a list, and you might too, of some movies that are coming up that look pretty good. Yeah, I do. There's some that I'm looking forward to, but yeah, it's weird to me. Well, and along those lines, even, you know, they want to stay to something that's proven commodities, but they're time after time again, that model is thrown on its ass. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't even a big comic book. Right. And look what those movies are huge. I mean, somebody took a gamble on, hey, let's make this goofy little side project, and boom, next thing you know, I mean. But Marvel's got to be careful with that because, you know, they're getting to a point now where some of their stuff is becoming, there's a little bit too much out there that people aren't familiar with. I know the Eternals got wrecked. Like, it just, people really don't like that film. I haven't seen it yet. Have you? Neither have I. But like, I have no interest in it either. Like, it's to a point, like, everything up to Endgame, I'm like, yeah, really great. And there's some side stuff I like, but the series stuff that I see on Disney Plus is great. But some of the stuff they had on Netflix, like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, I just had no interest in it. I don't know. Oh, really? Dude, I love Jessica Jones. I loved the Jessica Jones and the Daredevil and the Luke Cage. I didn't care much for the Iron Fist. I thought, you know, I was a fan of that comic, and he was such a badass, and I thought the TV show made him a whiny little bitch, you know. And why would you do that? And the guys at Iron Fist, you have to go through so much to get the title Iron Fist, and then he's a whiny little bitch now? What the fuck? Yeah, I liked Daredevil and Punisher. Those were the two that I did like. Oh, yeah, I enjoyed the Punisher too, actually. So I like Jessica Jones. I like her. You know, that's John Ritter's daughter from Three's Company and shit. So yeah, I like her as an actress, and Neko really likes her because she was in another TV series that she really enjoyed, A Girl Next Door, or some shit like that. But oh yeah, I remember that. I never did watch that, but I remember that. Huh? Yeah, the Marvel stuff. Are we reaching a point of oversaturation? Probably. It's just too much. Yeah. Star Wars, same question. Yeah, you know, we'll find out when they start releasing Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor, because, you know, luckily for Star Wars, they've got a little room to breathe, because after the controversial last 3 movies, They've got some room to kind of improve that. Marvel started off really strong, and now they might be just branching out a tad bit too much. So we'll see how that goes.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious to see, because I know a lot of people are big, like, oh, I missed this thing, so I didn't watch this thing. So at a certain point, when you trip people up on themselves, they can't keep up. You know what I mean? And now you feel like you got the Spider-Man multiverse things and all these kind of things. Although, based on the success of the most recent Spider-Man movie, it's hard to see that locomotive slowing down anytime soon. That's for sure.
Right. Well, I think when it comes to my own fandom, like I was never a big comic book guy and mecha fan.
I definitely was, yeah.
But as far as Marvel's concerned, like I tend to stay pretty happy with the characters I'm familiar with from all the earlier movies. So Hawkeye series is really good. I like that.
Yeah, Loki was good.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, like I'll probably go out and watch Doctor Strange, the second movie, because I'm familiar with those characters. Stuff like Eternals, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they place and how they fit in.
That was an offshoot, thing too in the comic universe almost. It was a little odd to me that they went that route with it. But again, the pursuit seems to be oversaturation almost. It's weird, but
yeah.
Gun at your head time. You ready?
Okay.
Best Marvel universe production, movie and or television show. Or I guess give me one of each. Give me a TV show and a movie if you don't mind.
TV show wise, I'd probably say Loki right now.
Very good. Exceptional.
Interested. Movie wise,
I know it is tough. It's definitely
probably a cross between Winter Soldier and Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed both of those.
Yeah. Probably Winter Soldier a little more. I think that's like the strongest movie out of them all, really.
Right. Yeah, I enjoyed most of those. I get why the one Thor movie not everybody liked. I get why not everybody liked it. I still kind of enjoyed it. I didn't think it was terrible, but I do get the criticisms, you know what I mean, that it took. But I find myself still watching and enjoying a lot of the Marvel stuff. I know a lot of people have taken to kind of shitting on it. It's become a pastime, but I still enjoy most of that stuff. For me, the TV show, I really like Jessica Jones a lot. It would be probably a tie between that and The Shield. I really like the Shield, Agents of Shield show quite a bit as well. For movie, man, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's fresh, but I did really love the new Spider-Man. I thought it was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I fucking love Willem Dafoe. It's so good.
Me too, dude. Yeah, dude, honestly. And all of the appearances, I mean, fucking Doc Ock and the fucking Bringing Back Sandman and all that. I loved every. It fed every. It was candy vittles for that nerd in me that loves that shit. So it gave you all that shit you want,
It was surprisingly emotional too.
Yeah, right. Very much so. Very much so. Same question. Gun to head. Star Wars property.
Oof, harder for me here.
Yeah.
Series-wise, Mandalorian easily.
Yeah, I got to agree with you.
Movie-wise, people are probably, most people always say Empire, but I'm always been more of a Return of the Jedi type guy.
I love Return of the Jedi. I probably am going to go Empire, but go ahead.
The close second for me would be Return of the Sith. I really did enjoy it.
Oh yeah, great one. That is a great one. Yeah, I'm an Empire guy. The dark stuff. We like that dark shit. So.
No!
Yeah. We got to play some songs soon, but let me ask you, I guess, along those lines before we do move into some music. Same question, gun to head, DC universe.
Oh, well, easily show-wise, I'm not even sure. I have to really think about the shows. I did enjoy the Harley Quinn animated show on HBO Max. That was
me too. Very good, yeah.
Movie-wise, it's actually just a trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy with Christian Bale.
Yeah. Hands down even. Yeah.
I just think about one from that, of course, The Dark Knight. I mean, Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Home run.
I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
For me too, I'm a huge comic guy. So my favorite Batman version was the dark, the darker stories and the darker that kind of almost noir approach to storytelling, which I thought Nolan embraced and really took into those movies. And I thought Bale was a fantastic Batman.
So did I. Some people didn't really like him. I know Nico's always making fun of his voice, but I'm like,
Where's the trigger? Where is it? You never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is it? Where's the trigger? Where is it? Where is it?
my parents died.
Worst Batman for you is Affleck, right? I know we've talked about this, I think, right? Yeah.
I mean, I've grown to appreciate what he was representing. He was like, someone explained to me a little bit, it's like, he's kind of like just the older, broken down version of Batman, so he relied more on his technology than anything else, but I just
Dude, I'm going to get shit on well, you've shit on me before, and I'll take it, and other people are going to shit on me. I love Affleck, man. I love Ben Affleck. I'm an Affleck guy. I'm of the Kevin Smith school where I don't believe there's anything that cat can't do. I like him.
And I said Affleck, because that's my answer for everything. Like, I just think Affleck could play. I'm a big fan, so I think he can play anything. People are like, Jaws 5. I'm like, Affleck. Affleck plays the fucking shark.
I forget what I was watching. Oh, I attempted to watch The Last Duel, HBO Max.
Oh, I haven't seen that, actually.
And I saw Matt Damon in it. And I said, oh, well, I wonder where his boy Flex in is. And sure as fuck, he is in that fucking movie, dude.
That's funny.
I'm like, these two dudes do nothing but anything together. They just hang together.
Yeah, they got their boys back from the old school, Boston school, baby. So,
but that's the best thing about really when it comes to Affleck, and he's not a bad actor at all, really. But Dogma was a great movie that they're both in. So. Love
that movie. Yeah, love that. Dogma's one of my favorite movies ever. Even. Oh, God, Scully gives me shit all the time because I'm always asking people like, if I had a gun to your head, what would you say to this? And that's kind of been. But we're doing gun to the headline of questioning a little bit more, and I'd like to continue it if I can for a second on Kevin Smith properties, brother. Like you mentioned Dogma.
I give you the Buddy Christ.
For me, that might be the movie. Honestly, I love that fucking movie so much. I watch it still once a month, although it's hard to top the original Clerks, though.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Yeah. I think my top 3 Smith movies right now are Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's a great one.
Clerks and then Clerks 2. Like, I just really love the Clerks series. It's so good. So Clerks 3 when it gets done. Like, for whatever reason, he's got a knack for that particular way of making those particular films. Like, I didn't expect much from Clerks 2 when I remember going into it. Came out loving that shit. Like,
loving it. So good.
Oh. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
He's the dialogue king, man. He is the dialogue king. He really embodies the early 90s, thing, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my friend and I, we remember going to the video store and renting that on VHS, that original Clerks. And, like, for a movie as simple as it was so goddamn funny, dude. Like, it's amazing.
Oh, dude, I was quoting that movie for a fucking 2 years. I still quoted, but I mean, especially heavily right after I watched.
All holes filled with hard cock. Yep. Oh, wait a minute. What was that called again?
And it birthed fucking Jay from Jay and Silent Bob on the world, man, which are, classic.
Well, the great thing, too, was in Clerks 2, of course, Jay was basically featuring King Diamond, so it was the best thing ever.
Grandma, what was it like to be on the holiday side?
Late that night, I awoke from my sleep,
Hearing unknown voices laughing insane!
And Neko really loves King Diamond, so, like, she really loves that movie, too, so.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, dude, we talked a little bit about Rosario Dawson earlier on the show, but I've always loved her, but the scene on the roof where she's teaching Dante how to dance, I fell in love with her, like, completely and with all of my soul even. Like, how can you not?
Play something and turn it way up. Something danceable.
My point of falling in love with Rosario over there in that movie is sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's okay to go to ass to mouth.
But sometimes, in the heat of the moment, it's forgivable to go ass to mouth.
I knew it.
I told you.
Yeah, that's good shit, man. I'm a big fan. Now I don't love all of them. What do you think of his forays into horror? I thought Tusk was crazy, but I did like it. I know not a lot of people did, but I liked it.
Yeah, you know,
it's nuts. It's out of this world nuts. But
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Justin Long. I'm not, for some reason. Like the only movie I really liked him in that I can remember clearly, and of course kept part of that,
was Dodgeball.
No, well, he was good in that. He was good in that. Dodgeball is actually pretty good. But the Live Free or Die Hard with Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Tusk is interesting. Missy and I, like Neko and I, we really enjoyed it because it was weird.
It was weird.
It was just like really weird, especially and it's like, I know I haven't seen the Yoga Hosers yet. Have you seen that one?
I have not actually. Shit, that's right. That's got his daughter, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I haven't seen that either. So I don't. That's like a semi-sequel, I guess, or part of that series. So I don't know. Like horror-wise, he's pretty missed for me currently.
Really? Did you like Red State? Did you watch Red State?
Red State was good. It was interesting. I liked that one.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's a wild dude, man. Honestly, it was the one of the Jay and Silent Bob movies I didn't care for, and I like those characters, so it's tough for me to say that. But the most recent one, I've just felt like all the jokes kind of felt a little bit like a reach to me. But other than that, I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith and I even like those college tour movies where he does the like speaking events at those colleges and shit. Like I think those are pretty interesting.
Fuck off, Clerks boy.
Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back from years ago was really good. The reboot.
Yeah, that's a good one. The reboot was not good. That's the one. Yeah, the reboot I didn't care for very much.
But, the thing I can appreciate about Kevin Smith is he's a diehard comic guy. Like is passionate about this work. So like you can't ever like, even if you don't like all his films and stuff, like you can appreciate that this guy dives all in whenever he wants to do something.
Fuck yeah. Well, dude, I'll forever feel robbed of, and we'll move on to horror here in a second, but I'll forever feel robbed of the Kevin Smith, Nicolas Cage Superman thing, man. I swear to God, I wish I could have seen that.
I don't know what it is about people wanting Nick Cage as Superman. Like, I cannot see that. See, it's funny because...
Well, that's why I want to see it.
Part of me says it's a fucking train wreck. But the other part of me says, if you ever watch Kick-Ass, his Big Daddy, he's fucking great. Like, I don't know what I'm going to get with Nicolas Cage being a superhero. Like, but I could just... Cage is Cage, as they say.
Cage is Cage. People tend to love him or hate him.
Yeah, have you heard they're doing a movie based on Nick Cage?
Yeah, it's like a meta movie where he's like, he's playing himself.
I'm Nick fucking... Whoa, Cage!
That looks fantastic.
It looks fantastic. I can't wait. People either love or hate Nicolas Cage, and I'm firmly in the love Nicolas Cage camp. Firmly. I love him. I love the dude.
I love Nick.
He's done so much great shit, dude. Like he's not like, it's interesting because I had read recently that he actually started doing more independent movies because he wants to help independent filmmakers.
That's awesome.
That's why you're seeing him in like a lot of these, like one right now when he did Mandy, which Panos Cosmatos is one of my favorite directors right now.
Dude, yeah, Mandy was amazing.
Yeah, so he's doing a
Pig.
lot.
Have you seen Pig?
Not yet. I did see, the Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland is amazing, dude. I don't want to spoil it, but his character, I don't even want to say nothing. But, dude, that's such a great fucking movie, dude.
And that's what's cool about Cage is that he'll just go and do all these, like, low-budget stuff, and it's, like, great.
The Color Out of Space was another recent one based on H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that.
I love it. I love Nicolas Cage, man. I love Nicolas Cage. Yeah. Well, and he's in some good horror shit. I thought the Willy's Wonderland was good. What was the other one he just did too? It was I don't even know. It was like tribal, some futuristic crazy shit. But on the horror,
Ghosts, something. Yeah.
Oh, Ghosts of the Wonderland or Ghosts of the Winterland or something like that. Yeah, that was good too. I enjoyed that.
I didn't like that one, but
oh, dude, I don't want to spoil it, but when the scene with his nut, oh my god, I died on that shit. That was so fucked up.
He likes to push himself, that's for sure.
He's got no boundaries, brother.
Yeah.
Well, and on No Boundaries, man, what are some of the horror properties? We've shit on some, and I am going to shit on a bunch of them, dude. You know, some of it just the remakes is a little too much. I'm not looking forward to the remake of the Pumpkinhead. We kind of talked about that. I'm not looking forward to them remaking the Firestarter movie. What is your thoughts on that?
I did see the trailer. I vaguely remember the one with Drew Barrymore, the original.
Oh, okay. See, I loved that one, and I that was an early movie for me. That was a kid movie for me. I watched when I was young.
And
I read that book.
It's funny because Drew did a lot of that, like Cat's Eye and stuff back then. So like a lot of those movies were great with the Stephen King stuff. So
oh yeah, fucking Cat's Eye was great.
You know, I don't know. I don't have any interest in seeing the Firestarter movie that's coming out because, like, again, I'm terrified that I'm gonna go in and say this sucks. You know, like
I am too, man. I love the original.
Yeah, I suppose if some of these movies, because if they come to streaming services that I pay for, I'll probably check it out. But to this day, like, Neko and I have not watched A Nightmare on Elm Street with Jackie Earle Haley. Like, I love him as an actor. I do
too. Yeah. Robert Englund is Freddy.
Yeah, you just can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
I did watch it, and you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, you really dodged a bullet there.
Thank God.
And dude, again, I say this all the time on the show. When it comes to these things, when it comes to horror movies, when it comes to properties, like I go in wanting to like it. I am the guy that likes things that most people that don't like it. I am the guy that liked it. I didn't hate The Happening with Mark Wahlberg. I get why everybody hated it. 100%, I get why. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Yeah. But I trust me, I get it. I think the acting was terrible.
We need to do something.
Just let me think.
They're dying!
I need a second. They released it? We're not near the road.
We can't just stand here as uninvolved observers!
I need a second, okay? Just give me a second.
We're not gonna be one of those assholes on the news who watches a crime happen and not do something. We're not assholes.
Just a second.
There were children in that room. Elliot, please tell us what to do!
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
I don't regret spending the time on it.
Interesting concept.
Right, exactly.
I do like Shyamalan. He is like
Me
a lot
too.
of early stuff is really good. We just watched the last Glass was really good.
Oh, Glass. I just watched his most recent one, Old. Have you seen Old yet?
I've heard good things about that one.
I did enjoy it, man. I very much did enjoy that shit. What do you think is his best? I mean, do you go Sixth Sense or do you go?
You know, Sixth Sense is really, really good. I ended up enjoying. Like some people are kind of divided on The Village. I
liked The Village too, man. Yeah, that's another one that everybody hated, but I enjoyed The Village. I thought it was cool concept.
Because I didn't really expect that either. That was a very cool twist in that one. He was really good when he was able to make those twists.
Right.
By the time he got to the woman in the water or whatever it was, they kind of lost that. Split was okay. I enjoyed McAvey's acting, obviously. And Glass to me was like the third one in that chapter, which was far superior to the Split to me. But
right.
Yeah, Jackson and all them, it was really good.
Yeah, that brought it all together even. That was cool. That was a cool. Yeah, I think Shyamalan's a guy worth watching. What are some of the directors you got on your radar? Like, for me, I definitely am keeping an eye on that what's that, Ari Aster, I think it is, the Midsummer guy. And yeah, man, I'm enjoying him. And Jordan Peele is another one, but.
Probably, like you mentioned, Astor's a very good one. Eggers, who did Lighthouse and The Witch.
The Witch was so amazing. Such a great movie.
Anya Taylor-Joy is awesome. She's a great actress.
Fantastic.
I didn't even realize how good she was until that film. As I said before, Panos Cosmatos, who did Beyond the Black Rainbow as well as Mandy. He has a great way of using visuals. buying soundtracks. Christopher Nolan's always going to be a top one for me. A lot of the movies he took, like Inception, the Batman series. I didn't get to see a Tenet, and people didn't really like it because maybe it was a little too confusing, so I don't know how that is. But
Dude, I fucking loved Tenet. I loved Tenet. I thought it was fantastic. I really did.
Yeah.
Well, and
So,
you
yeah.
know, funny story about that even. I am not a Robert Pattinson guy because all I know him from is the Twilight stuff, and I didn't get into it. I didn't like it. So when I heard he was going to be the Batman, I was very poo-pooing on it, very, very much. And then I watched Tenet, honestly. And Robert Pattinson's role, I thought he was fucking fantastic in that movie. He completely won me over even, man. And I came out of Tenet looking forward to Batman, as weird as that may sound. But, you know, I was like, fuck, I've been short-selling this guy.
When I heard Heath Ledger was playing a Joker, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't get it. And then what he did with that character is like monumental.
Let's put a smile on that face.
And then, of course, as you said, Pattinson, I only known him from Twilight and Harry Potter. And then I saw Lighthouse, what he did with Willem Dafoe, and that was like crazy good. Like it was
great movie.
So when it comes to the Batman, I'm very interested. I don't know how it's going to do. I haven't really looked at reviews or anything, but if I'm willing to, say I was wrong about Ledger, then I'm willing to say I was wrong about Pattinson.
Me too. I've been wrong about a few, man. Let me tell you. When it's funny too, man, I'd like to get your take on this because as a dude, I think that dudes tend to dislike certain dude actors based on, what's the Channing Tatum guy is a good example, I think. He came along, he did the stripper guy movie. Apparently he used to be an actual stripper. So I know men that despise him, hate him, will not watch his movies, don't give a fuck. And honestly, at first I was like, fuck this cute boy dude that everybody loves. And then I saw the 21 Jump Street movie and totally won me over. I think he's hilarious in it. And now I love him even. Like if he's in it, I want to watch it, but.
You want me to beat your dick off?
You want to beat my dick off?
I'll beat your dick off with both hands. Let's go.
That's weird, man.
Tatum, to me, I could take him or leave him. But as you said, he has a way of kind of winning you over. Like when he was, I have a soft spot actually for the first G.I. Joe movie. I thought that was actually fun.
Me too. A great reimagining.
Someone just said he did that movie called Dog or whatever it was, and that looks pretty cool, funny. So, I mean, it just depends. I know Neko had seen that, was it Magic Mike stuff? So she's like, yeah, it was good, but, I'm sure it's for different reasons.
Yeah, right. I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, that movie never interested me. I wonder why. I can't figure it out.
I think two actors and an actress that I really pay attention to now is probably Samara Weaving, who did The Babysitter as well as Mayhem. Have you ever seen Mayhem?
Yes, so good, dude. I love her, actually. So
yeah, she's amazing.
I love the Babysitter movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, really, believe it or not, Daniel Radcliffe is very underrated as an actor. I've seen him in the Can You See Me? It's like those magic movies with Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman. And then even these other roles that he's taken on where he's playing more serious characters is really good. So he's actually pretty versatile as an actor.
Right. Yeah, I like him too. I'm a fan of that cat, man. I believe he is going to be Weird Al Yankovic, right? Wasn't that just recently?
Something of that nature, yeah.
Yeah, I think in a biopic of Weird Al Yankovic, Daniel Radcliffe is signed on to be Weird Al in that. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to. Did you grow up a Weird Al guy?
To a degree. I watched all his videos a lot of times. It made me laugh.
Like a surgeon, hey, cutting for the very first time.
I never saw UHF. I think that's what it was called.
Oh, I love that movie.
But yeah, he's very intelligent, very funny. Like, all those songs from the 80s, dude, I was like always laughing.
Fuck yeah. I love UHF. He had a short-lived TV show that I was a big fan of. I'm a big Weird Al guy. I still think, for my money, the best Super Bowl halftime show of all time would be as if Weird Al did it. So, I think he'd have fun.
Yeah, dude. Why no one's even thought of that? Like,
dude, it would be family-friendly. He's not a dirty guy, so you don't have to worry about a tit popping out or nothing. You know what I mean? It'd be great.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I think he's quite the showman. I think he'd be awesome. So. I'm looking forward to that Nope movie that I saw the trailer for that just the other day. That looks like it's going to be pretty scary. And I'm looking forward to that because not only is it Jordan Peele, but it's Stephen Yeun, who I just told you I stopped watching The Walking Dead when Glenn died, and that was Glenn from The Walking Dead is going to be in that.
Stephen Yeun, is this the same dude from the Mayhem?
Right? Yes. Hey, it all comes full circle. There you go.
Yes, it does.
Okay, you don't wrap up the circle thing. Come on.
Moving on. I have a few movies that I am interested in, and I will talk about with you.
Yeah, give it to me.
So I have 4 for 2022, and then 1 for 2023. So I'll start by mentioning Dark Harvest, coming out in the fall of this year, projected. It's based on a 2007 horror novel of the same name. Dark Harvest is a film set in a small Midwestern town on Halloween 1963. October Boy, also known as Old Hacksaw Face and Sawtooth Jack, is an apparition who surfaces from the cornfields each year and heads to town with a butcher knife in tow. Here's where it gets interesting, which I did not think I was going to see. There, he's hunted down by the townspeople in an annual event called The Run.
Oh, whoa. I was getting ready to say it sounds like a new take on the slasher, but no, yeah, it goes a different direction.
Yeah, so like you got this guy, this being that's like attacking people, but then they actually have an annual event where they're actually hunting him too.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Then September 9th, and I don't know if you ever saw the original TV movie, but Salem's Lot is being remade.
I am such a huge Stephen King guy. Me too.
I really love that. It's directed by Gary Doberman with the help from horror maestro James Wan producing. The film follows Ben Mears, a writer who returns to his hometown to discover the mysterious force that turns the residents into vampires instead of running away. Ben forms a coalition to fight the evil and save the town. So it has a similar plot to what we've seen in the original.
Right. At one point they were talking about making a Salem's Lot TV show. I wonder whatever happened to that.
Well, I do know that did you ever see the Exorcist series that they put out?
Oh, yes, indeed. I actually have those. I have those on DVD. I'm a nerd.
I caught like a couple episodes. Neko and I just haven't finished it, but kind of a slow starter for me.
Yeah.
Also in 2022, I'm not sure the date yet, is Prey.
Oh.
This is and you probably will know this is the origin story of the Predator in the world of Comanche Nation 300 years ago. So Naru, a skilled female warrior, fights to protect her tribe against one of the first highly evolved predators to land on Earth. And this is interesting because I think it was like the last Predator movie or the one before. I haven't really liked them, but they loosely based the plots off some books that I have. One's actually called Prey, but this was where a woman warrior is actually going to a different planet to fight the predators, and she actually befriends one. So there's these similar themes that we've seen in some of these Predator movies and Aliens and whatnot, because Aliens do, converge in the books against the Predators in the books I have. So,
fuck yeah.
The first Alien versus Predator, I was like very excited until I realized he fucked it up.
Yeah, right. They did too. And what a shame. We've been calling for that convergence since the 80s,
And so with Prey, I'm hoping like this is kind of like a reboot to the point where they get it right. We really need a decent Predator film since the Predator 2, obviously, because those first two are great movies.
Fuck yeah, they are.
Then there's this other movie. I saw the trailer a while back. I don't know if you did. It's called X. And the premise is in 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast find themselves fighting for their lives. This has a very grindhouse grind thing going on with about the way it was shot. So if you haven't seen the trailer, check it out for sure because it's amazing. I looked at it and I was like, wow, this looks great.
Yeah, it almost has like a early Texas Chainsaw feel to the trailer for me, maybe even. Yeah, I like it.
See the new one on Netflix, the Chainsaw movie? I
haven't yet. Have you?
Yes.
Do you?
I actually did a little review on my YouTube channel for it. I actually came out of it enjoying it. I did. I did not think I would. I was going in saying, because everyone's saying all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm dreading going into this.
Right.
I actually did.
Our mutual friend Blake from Pig Destroyer had some pretty negative things to say about it, actually, I saw online. So I was curious to. I haven't watched it yet. I will watch it though because I'm a fan of the properties. So and I'm that guy. Well, let me ask you that. Even if you have low expectations, obviously you still watch it, right? Because you're a fan of the property.
It depends. Like I said, I have a hard time for myself going into A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010.
Oh, right.
It's just people love it. Now Texas Chainsaw, like I've loved the first two, obviously, like everyone else. I love The Face, which is the third one is very good. After that, they're all really kind of forgettable, except for the remake of Jessica Biel.
Right. The Matthew McConaughey one was terrible, I thought, but
Right. But some people really like that stuff. So
right.
Then there's some other ones they did afterwards, the beginning. I haven't seen some of them, but I'm like, whatever. And then this one they said, was kind of like after the first one. So they're basically skipping everything else in between. So I'm like, okay. So I went in with the worst expectations about it because that's just how it is. So, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's the greatest one ever, but I think it did top. When I did my full ranking of all the movies, it came in third.
Okay.
I came in pretty. I'll tell you this: if anything in this movie, the kills are going to impress you the most because it's so fun. Like from the minute that the first kill happens, I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, a friend of mine, Natalie, actually told me, she was like, look, I don't care if y'all like the movies or not. The kills in it make it a great movie, so you're going to want to see it. So
people said that about Halloween Kills. I didn't see it, but everyone says, okay, well, the plot's not very great, but dude, the kills are just amazing.
Right. I liked it, honestly. A lot of people shitted on it, but I liked it. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I like the reimagining that they're doing. That's another one. The supposed, I mean, we've heard that before, but the supposed last Halloween movie is coming. Halloween Ends. They say this is the actual end. There's no more. There's
the funny thing about that though is it usually. It may be the end for Carpenter, but like I don't know if it's going to be the end for anyone else that wants to pick up the franchise. But that's usually what happens.
Right, exactly. Ask Stephen King about that.
No.
Right. George Lucas. It doesn't last, man. People pick it up.
Yeah, right. As soon as the properties become available for jumping, people jump. So
now, before I get to my 2023 film, which I think you're going to find very interesting. There are some other films coming up. I'm not going to mention the plots because there's not a lot on it. But The Reef called The Reef: Stalked. I don't know if you ever saw the first Reef with the shark.
I did, dug it.
Based off a real story. The second one, sequel, is not, obviously. I don't think so, but they're capitalizing on that and trying to do it. So that's a little bit of interesting for me because I do like shark stuff. Trick or Treat 2. This is the anthology stuff. So Doherty's again included in this.
I love the first one. I love the first Trick or Treat, man. Finally, we get Sam back.
Yeah, it's very good. And then they're going to do the Exorcist sequel, which will follow the first movie. So we're going to get that. So those are kind of interesting on the side.
Right. And the Exorcist is going to skip everything from the first movie and it's going to pretend nothing else in between happened, right?
Yeah.
Right. I dug the third one. I still say Exorcist 3 was an amazing movie, but go ahead.
But the one Brad Dourif?
Yes, with George C. Scott and Brad Dourif. I love that fucking movie, man. I do. I love it.
A lot of people say that one's, I mean, I've seen it a couple times. They say it's better than the second one, so I don't know.
Definitely.
So the 2023 film that I want to talk about is called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And this is based on a single chapter, The Captain's Log, from a Bram Stoker classic 1897 novel, Dracula. So this is the boat. The story is set aboard the Russian schooner Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo, 24 unmarked wooden crates from Carpathia to London. The film will detail the strange events that befall the doomed crew as they attempt to survive the ocean voyage. Stalked each night by a terrifying presence on board the ship. When it finally arrived at Whitby Harbor, it was derelict, and there was no trace of the crew. So they're just focusing on that entire voyage of that transfer, and that's going to be very interesting. I really find that intriguing.
Fuck yeah, man. I've actually read some Bram Stoker works myself, so yeah, I'm excited about that.
Coppola version, 1992?
Oh yeah, I do like that. Do you?
Yes, I love it. It's a great movie.
Well, you know, and it's funny too because I'm a huge Keanu Reeves guy, and my only negative on that is I think he's awful in it, to be honest. But
Yes.
He
Oldman was awesome as usual, but yeah, Reeves was like the weakest link. On that.
Yeah, and I love him, man. I love it. I love him. I love all the things he's in. I love the John Wick stuff and all that shit. So
I just call it like a early career bad moment for him because he's actually done some pretty good movies since then.
oh yeah, fantastic. Well, the Victorian thing too early. It was too early from Bill and Ted to a Victorian accent, I think. So yeah. He was like, but like, there's a vampire, yo, and like, no,
I could really use that phone booth right now.
Right. Well, we talked earlier in the show about like we ended up on horror, but we talked earlier about Marvel, and I guess to wrap up this whole conversation we're having this week on the show, let's talk about a couple of things that seem like they're going to merge those, man. It seems like Marvel's really trying to embrace a horror approach with their Morbius and with the new Doctor Strange approach movie. It sounds like they're really billing them almost as horror movies. Are you looking forward to those flicks, and what are your thoughts on them?
Definitely Doctor Strange. Again, because of Loki and Spider-Man No Way Home, we've learned that the multiverse is really starting to kick in with the different timelines and whatnot. So that eventually is just going to lead to a lot of different stuff that we run into as far as like what we're seeing going on. Morbius, know nothing about. I have seen the trailer for it. I am interested in it. It does look a lot more horror-ish than Marvel superhero stuff, but yeah, I'm all in. I think they're actually redoing Blade too, so that's going to be interesting.
Right, and how funny is that? I just recently was saying to somebody like, man, enough with the vampire shit, enough of, but then now I'm super excited about so many vampire things. I'm excited about the Morbius thing. I'm excited about Blade, both you know what I mean? Like, so I guess I'm a hypocrite, is it what it amounts to, but.
It's me being a hypocrite is what it is.
I'm looking forward to Blade. I was a huge fan of that comic, so.
Blade, yeah. I watched the trailer the other day of the movie The Curse. I was contemplating going to see that, but I went to see Jackass Forever instead. But that looks like it's some sort of werewolf movie, so I'm not sure how good or bad it is, so we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, man. I'm drawing in any of that shit. I'm drawing in. We talked earlier, like, do you watch the franchise? I usually do, but I guess you're right. There are certain things. I did watch The Nightmare on Elm Street, but I didn't like it. But like, I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch this new Suspiria. So,
yeah, see, that's one that again is I went into it because Suspiria is like the original is my all-time favorite horror movie. So like,
yeah, you and I share that affinity for that film.
And it still is, but I went into that film with the remake, and I'm like, I'm gonna hate this shit. The funniest thing about the remake for me is I actually thought it was well done. It's very original. It took the trilogy of Dario Argento's vision of those witch movies and put it all into one. And he did it a different approach. I can't remember the director's name, but he did it a different approach, and I thought that was great. The last 10 minutes or so is where he lost me because he was doing something totally different than what he'd done for the entire movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
So a lot of people are saying, well, the ending's great, but I'm like, okay, but that's his nod to Dario's version. Like, the guy didn't even like Dario's version, so why is he even tempted to do this? Like,
right.
It would have been a better movie with a different ending, like not doing what he did. Like, it's so strange for me to say that because I'm like, most people probably go into that film looking for that. I'm just like, no. That guy was trying to do something totally different and then resorted to a Dario Argento effect at the end. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why?
Well, I'm going to have to watch it, I guess, man. I'm going to have to break down and watch it. I'm just nervous about it. I do. The first movie is it's an iconic movie for me.
Yes.
It's the first movie I ever watched in my life. I've said this before on the show, but where I actively wanted to know who the fuck is the director of this movie. Like, seriously, what is going on here? This is vibrant and jumping out at me in a way I have never experienced before. So it made me a Dario Argento fan for life. So.
Yep. Yeah, he's really good in that soundtrack and the visuals. Just.
Crazy good. Well, shit, man. I guess we're gonna have to. We're trying to make the shows shorter, and then I bring in my friends, and we can talk for days. I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours and hours. And honestly, we didn't even cover on some of the other properties, but maybe we'll get into it in the future. You know, there's that "Don't Worry, Darling." I actually saw a preview for that recently. It looks like it's gonna be pretty fucking weird and fucked up. And I like if it's weird, I'm in. I like weird. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, some say I'm weird, man, and don't take it as anything as a compliment, but I consider you weird with me, brother. Let's be weird together for a long time.
Weird doesn't begin to cover it.
Amen.
Behind the scenes, you and I are talking. We'll do more things together, man. We got some ideas we're brewing, so we'll be doing some more shit. And tell everybody one more time, if they're not already following Metal Tavern Radio, what do they got to do, man? Make sure they know and make sure they don't miss out.
Just go to metaltavernradio.com and you'll find all of our podcasts. Each one has a drop-down menu for all the separate ones that we do. Thrash Zone, Meat Grinder, Hordes of Chaos, Rock and a Hard Place, which I've been doing, and of course, access to our YouTube stuff. And we have links to other YouTube personalities, which I'm going to be getting Metal-O-Mania up there soon. So yeah, you'll be able to reach out to a lot of different people that are here to entertain you.
Fuck yeah, I'll be there, brother.
Fucking entertained.
We hope you found it entertaining, whimsical and yet relevant, with an underlying revisionist conceit that belied the film's emotional attachments to the subject matter.
Hey, I'll be there, brother. You hit me up, I'll be there. And you know, we got to give a shout out to our boy Kevin Tarrant out there, man. You know he's watching, so shout out to that dude.
Kevin.
Much love to you, brother. Thanks for hanging out. All right, well, shit, on that note, man, back to the studio where they're going to close this thing out for you for the week. But follow this dude, man. I love this dude, and if you don't already, you should. See you next time, Metal-O-Mania and Metal Tavern Radio.
I think we might just make a good team.